Buenas a todos, aquí Banir de nuevo con Mass Effect. Y este capítulo de momento... examinar. De momento lo voy a dedicar a... Bueno, el capítulo va a ser principalmente una misión secundaria. Y esta primera parte va a ser totalmente hablar con la tripulación. Para hacerlo menos pesado, pues los viajes estos de entre cabina y mierda así, o sea, solo voy a poner las conversaciones interesantes, las que tenga que contar algo que no hayan contado antes, pues las pondré y el resto pues lo cortaré. Así que esta parte la tendréis todas conversaciones y ya está. Mirar fuera. Y me dan experiencia por mirar fuera. Bueno, vamos a hablar con Joker.
I prefer gold to silver, you know, for my medal. I figured you'd recommend me for one since I pulled your boots out of the fire.
Ganar medallas, seguro que es eso lo que quieres.
If we present you with a medal, you'll end up sitting on stage listening to politicians make speeches for a couple of hours. Fun.
That's a good point. They'd probably make me shave, too. I spent the last 7 weeks working on this baby. No medal's worth that. So, Commander, why don't you tell me why you're really here?
Informe de la nave.
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet. If you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
Solo quiero
I'd like to know
hablar.
my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain. You want me as your pilot. I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet. Top of my class in flight school, I earned that. All those commendations in my file, I earned every single one. Those weren't given to me as charity for my disease.
No pretendí
I didn't even know you were sick.
You mean you didn't know? Oh, crap. Okay, I've got Vrolik syndrome, brittle bone disease. The bones in my legs never develop properly. They're basically hollow, too much force and they'll shatter. Even with crutches and my leg braces, it's hard to get around. One wrong step and crack! It's very dramatic. But I've learned to manage my condition, Commander. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you know, you like the sound of snapping shin bones.
¿Cómo
Why does
conseguiste el
everyone call
apodo?
you Joker?
It's a lot shorter than saying Alliance Flight Lieutenant Jeff Moreau. Plus, I love to make little children laugh.
Esa no es una respuesta.
You're dodging the question.
Look, I didn't pick the name. One of the instructors in flight school used to bug me about never smiling. She started calling me Joker, and it stuck.
I need to know more about this Vrolik syndrome if I'm putting my ship in your hands.
Yeah, of course you do. It's an extremely rare condition. Nobody knows exactly what causes it. Genetic, maybe. It's treatable, but there's no cure. They classify my case as moderate to severe. I was born with over a dozen fractures. Hip, thighs, ankles. My bones were already breaking in the womb. 100 years ago, I wouldn't have survived past my first year. Lucky for me, modern medical science has turned me into a productive member of society.
¿Cómo haces tu
You're not
trabajo?
going to break a bone trying to fly the ship, are you?
I don't fly with my feet, Commander, so I'm fine as long as I'm in this chair. I gotta be real careful when I get up to take a piss, though. I can do my job as well as anyone on the ship. Better, actually. So don't worry about it.
I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. Let's talk about something else.
Whatever you want, Commander.
Tu historia personal.
How'd you end up joining the Alliance?
Look, if you're looking for an inspirational tale of the crippled kid overcoming impossible odds, you're gonna be disappointed. My mother was a civilian contractor working for the Alliance. I basically grew up on the Arcturus station back when they were building up the fleets. Spend all that time around Alliance ships, there's a good chance you'll end up going to the Academy.
Y creo que ya no más, ¿no? Sí,
I have
adiós.
to go.
Alright, see ya.
Oh. Aquí no. Bueno, pues ya hemos hablado con Joker. No sé si hemos hablado antes con Joker, pero lo voy a poner igual. Y ahora vamos a el navegante este.
If anyone has to take over for Captain Anderson, I'm glad it's you. I'm not sure about having non-humans on our ship, though.
Están de
We're
nuestra
all
parte.
on the same team here, Presley.
With all due respect, sir, that's what they said about Nihilus. Look how that turned out.
¿Cuestionas mis
I'm in charge
decisiones?
here, Presley. I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Aliens en la
Speak
nave.
freely, Presley. I want to know if you have a problem with non-humans.
It's not that, Commander. Humanity has always handled its own problems. Saren attacked one of our colonies. We should be the ones to stop him. We don't need their help.
Nunca rechazar la
Some
ayuda.
people think asking for help is a sign of weakness. That's just being stupid and stubborn. No matter how strong you are, allies can make you stronger.
I guess so. Maybe I'm just stuck in the old ways of thinking. But don't worry, Commander. This won't be a problem.
Preguntas
How did you end up
personales.
assigned to the Normandy?
I signed up with the Alliance as a navigator right out of school, following in my grandfather's footsteps, I guess. My first posting was on the Agincourt. We were at Elysium during the Skillian Blitz. A massive fleet of alien raiders hit the colony, trying to wipe it out. They had the numbers, but their ships were no match for an Alliance frigate. It was a slaughter. We couldn't even keep track of how many ships they lost.
Y ahora estás
How'd
aquí.
you end up on the Normandy?
I got my officer's commission after Elysium. Must have made an impression on the right people. Captain asked for me when he was picking his crew.
Mm. Y ya no más.
Carry on, Presley.
Yes, sir.
¿Por qué rebeldía? Porque le he preguntado. Va, da igual. Esto no tiene que hacer nada. A ver, vamos a hablar con Kaidan.
Anything you need, Commander?
Evaluación táctica.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Dr. Tassoni. Seems like a sweet girl. Easy on the eyes. I mean, if you like the bookish sort.
Pues a mí sí me gusta. ¿A ti te gustan? A ver, o sea, si te gustan las que no paran de estudiar, ¿y a ti te
Any
gustan?
intentions there, Lieutenant?
No, Commander. Just art appreciation.
A ver,
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Dr. Tassoni.
sí, ya me lo has dicho.
I mean, if you like the bookish
A ver qué
sort.
dice. Pues a mí
Just
sí me gusta.
remember, Lieutenant, I saw her first.
Only by a few seconds, sir.
Información personal.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
Is this an official evaluation, Commander? Or off the record?
Habla con libertad.
Alenko, when it's just you and me, you can consider it off the record.
That's a generous attitude. Okay. I think there's something wrong with all this. This Saren is looking for records on some kind of galactic extinction, but we can't get backup from the Council? Sorry, Commander. There's writing on the wall here, but someone isn't reading it.
Te
The
escucho.
Council doesn't want to believe anything's wrong. I'd call it human nature, but...
I hear you. It just seems like a group that's been around as long as the Council should see this coming. Sorry if I got too informal. Protocol wasn't a big focus back in Bot.
De acuerdo.
Tell me about it.
Biotic acclimation and temperance didn't last past the airlock to the kids they hauled in for this brain camp. Sorry, hauled in is unkind. We were encouraged to commit to an evaluation of our abilities so an understanding of biotics could be compiled. There are worse results of accidental exposure to element zero in the womb. Beats the brain tumors some kids grew up with.
¿Crees que no fue
Is there some
accidental?
question about how you were exposed?
My mother was downwind of a transport crash. It was before there were human biotics, a little after the discovery of the Martian ruins. It only gets iffy around 63 when Kinetics was running out of first-gen subjects. Until then, they'd relied on accidentals. A bunch of guys in suits show up at your door after school, and next thing you know, you're out on Jump Zero.
Salto cero.
Jump Zero is Gagarin Station, right? What's it like?
Yeah, that's the official name. Biggest and farthest facility we had for decades. Right on the termination shock, the outer edge of the solar system. It's where they did all the Goose Chase FTL research before we caught on to using mass effect fields. It was a sterile research platform when I was there.
There were other
amigos.
kids in the same boat, right? At least you weren't alone out there.
That's true. We did have a little circle that'd get together every night before lights out. We didn't have much to do, though. It was a research platform then, and Canadics kept Jump Zero off the extranet to prevent leaks.
¿Tenías tiempo para hablar?
Then you must have had plenty of time to get to know each other.
Yeah, we'd sit around and bull every night after dinner, play cards or network games. There was this girl named Rana, who had a little circle grow up around her. She was from Turkey. Her family was very rich. But she was smart and charming as hell. Beautiful, but not stuck up about it. I think you'd have liked her.
¿Te enamoraste de ella?
Sounds like she was special to you.
She was. Maybe she felt the same. But things never felt together. Training, you know.
Exposiciones
You know of
deliberadas.
any intentional exposures for certain?
No one knows. Doesn't mean they didn't happen. As big as the exposures were, it was hard to track down accidentals. It was different then. No one knew the potential, so there wasn't a lot of regulation. Anything Canadics did was gold. I'm not saying they intentionally detonated drives over our outposts, but in retrospect, they were damn quick on the scene.
Suena duro,
Jump
continúa.
Zero is a long way from home. What was it like?
The grand gateway to humanity looks a lot better in the vids. But that's my own baggage, Commander. No bearing on this.
Puedes hablar conmigo.
Alenko, there's no regulation that says you can't be friends with your commander.
I appreciate that, Commander. I just don't want you to think that I'm a whiner. Besides, I've got my past squared away.
Bien, subida de nivel. Bueno, hemos hablado con Kaidan, aquí no hay nadie. Oh, Liara.
Commander, are you coming to check up on me?
Estaba preocupado.
You look much better. How are you feeling?
Dr. Chakwas assures me I am going to be fine. I was impressed with her knowledge of Asari physiology.
Es la
You're
mejor.
in good hands. Dr. Chakwas knows what she's doing.
I never properly thanked you for saving me from the Geth, Commander. If you hadn't shown up,
No me des las
I'm just glad we
gracias.
got there in time.
so am I. I know you took a chance bringing me aboard this ship. I have seen the way your crew looks at me. They do not trust me. But I am not like Benezia. I will do whatever I can to help you stop Saren. I promise.
Lo sé.
Don't worry, Liara. I trust you. I know you won't let me down.
It means a lot to hear you say that, Commander. Thank you.
Investigar Venecia.
Do you know why Benezia joined up with Saren?
I don't understand it. She was always outspoken about the need for the Asari to become more involved in shaping galactic events. Maybe she thought allying herself with Saren would somehow be for the greater good in the long run. At least I hope so.
Pareces preocupada.
This hurts you, doesn't it?
None of this makes any sense to me. I have not spoken to Benezia in many years, but I know her, and this was not like her. Something changed.
La cultura Asari.
I'd like to know more about the Asari.
We were the first species to discover the Citadel. We were instrumental in forming the Council, and we always strive to be the voice of peaceful cooperation in galactic disputes. My people believe we are all part of a single galactic community. Each species contributes something to the greater whole. Although we seek to understand other species, it seems few of them seek to understand us. The galaxy is filled with rumors and misinformation about my people.
Rumores.
Most of the inaccuracies are centered around our mating rituals. My species is monogendered. Male and female have no real meaning for us. We still require a partner to reproduce. This second parent, however, may be of any species and any gender.
Vamos, que son hermafroditas. ¿Cómo es
I
eso
don't
posible?
understand. Your species can mate with anyone?
Mating is not quite the proper term, not as you understand it. Physical contact may or may not be involved, but it is not an essential element of the union. The true connection is mental. Our physiology allows us to meld with other beings. We can touch the very depths of their minds. We explore the genetic memory of their species. We share the most basic elements of their individual and racial identities. We then pass these traits on to our daughters. It is how we learn to grow as a species and how we develop a greater understanding of other races.
¿Y el otro
What happens
progenitor?
to your partner after the union?
Every relationship is different. Some unions are a single encounter with both parents parting ways afterwards. Others can be more long-term. Sometimes an Asari and her partner will stay together for many decades.
¿Quién fue tu
Do you
padre?
know who Matriarch Benezia chose as her partner?
She rarely spoke of her partner. Though I know my father, if you want to use that term, was another Asari.
¿Dónde? ¿No sabes quién era?
Benezia never told you her partner's name?
Union with our own kind is no longer common, not for the purposes of reproduction. Most Asari believe it weakens our species. Asari daughters inherit racial traits from the father species. If both parents are Asari, then nothing has been gained, or so conventional wisdom would hold. I am what is sometimes called a pureblood, though no Asari would ever be cruel enough to say the word to my face. It is a great insult among my people. It is possible Benezia's partner was embarrassed by their union. She may have been too ashamed to publicly acknowledge me as her offspring.
Eso no lo sabes.
Maybe she wanted to meet you but couldn't. Something could have happened to her. Maybe she passed away.
You might be right. I hope you are. But I have no way to know for sure. Benezia never spoke of her partner. Whatever happened, it caused her too much pain to dwell on it. She raised me by herself, though that is not uncommon. Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived. Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
Esto ya... ¿Quién fue tu padre? Esto ya lo... ¿Cómo tratáis ese asunto?
Do you know who Matriarch Benezia chose as her partner?
Esto ya lo...
She rarely spoke of her partner, though I know my
I
father...
thought you always needed another species to serve as one of the parents.
Think about it, Shepard. If we were not able to mate with our own species, we would have died out long before we ever mastered spaceflight and left our homeworld. Union with our own kind is no longer common, not for the purposes of reproduction. Asari
Esto...
daughters... It is possible Benezia's partner was...
Maybe she wanted...
Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived. Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
¿Y cómo tratáis ese asunto?
Asari lived for 1,000 years. What happens when your partner dies?
Few sapient species live as long as my kind. We have learned to take a philosophical approach to our unions. We do not focus on the inevitable loss of our partners. Instead, we enjoy the time we spend with them. And even after they're gone, a part of them lives on in us. The union is a connection that transcends both time and space.
Creo que eso de quién fue el padre... Voy a
You
hacerlo
know
de
why
Venecia.
Maybe she thought allying herself with Saren would somehow be for the greater good in the long run. None of this makes any sense.
Me
to
gustaría hablar
I
contigo.
have not
Esto es lo
related
que
to
buscaba.
Benezia in many years, but I know her, and this was not like
Tell me about yourself, Liara.
me. I am afraid I am not very interesting, Commander. I spend most of my time on remote digs, unearthing mundane items buried in long-forgotten Prothean ruins.
Debes sentirte sola.
Sounds dangerous. And lonely.
Sometimes I would run afoul of indigenous life forms or stumble across a small band of mercenaries or privateers, but I was always careful. Until the Geth followed me to Artemis Tau, I never found myself in any situation my biotics could not handle. As for the solitude, well, that is one aspect that most appealed to me. Sometimes I just need to get away from other people.
¿Por qué?
You don't like other people?
I suppose it comes from being a matriarch's daughter. People expected me to follow in Benezia's footsteps. They wanted me to become a leader of our people. Matriarchs guide their followers into the future. They seek the truth of what is yet to come. Maybe that's why I became so interested in the secrets of the past. It sounds so foolish when I say it out loud. It sounds like I became an archaeologist simply to spite Benezia.
No es ninguna
All
tontería.
children rebel against their parents. It's a natural part of growing up.
Aha. You share the wisdom of the matriarch, Shepard. That is exactly what Benezia said when I told her of my decision. But there was more to it than that. I felt drawn to the past. The Protheans were these wondrous, mysterious figures. I wanted to know everything about them. That is why I find you so fascinating. You were marked by the beacon on Eden Prime. You were touched by working Prothean technology.
Soy
Sounds like
fascinante.
you want to dissect me in a lab somewhere.
What? No, I did not mean to insinuate. I never meant to offend you, Shepard. I only meant that you would be an interesting specimen for an in-depth study. No, that's even worse.
Calm
Tranquila.
down, Liara. I was only joking.
Joking? Oh, by the goddess, how could I be so dense? You must think I am a complete and utter fool. Now you know why I prefer to spend my time in the field with data disks and computers. I always seem to say something embarrassing around other people. Please, just pretend this conversation never happened.
Corramos un tupido pelo.
I should go.
Adiós.
Goodbye, Shepard.
A ver qué nos cuenta Garrus.
How are you?
Sí, tú creo que esto ya
Why
lo
did you
he.
want to be a CSEC officer in
Sí.
the first place?
That's a good question. There were several reasons, I guess.
Like what?
Probably, I guess, he's taking my resignation pretty hard.
That's tough.
You think he actually talked me out of becoming a Spectre when I was younger, for the same reasons?
You were asked to be a Spectre?
Well, I was targeted as a possible Spectre candidate. Me and about 1,000 other Turian military recruits. I could have received special training, but my father didn't like it. He despises the Spectres. He hates the idea of someone having unlimited power with no accountability. He wouldn't like you, Commander. No offense.
Ya
I
veo.
suppose I can understand his concern.
You can. But Saren's not going to play by our rules, CSEC's rules. If you want to nail Saren, you need to send someone who isn't restricted by policies and procedures.
Just
Eso no
because
es-
you can break the rules doesn't mean you should. I don't need to stoop to Saren's level to stop him. And neither do you, Garrus.
I see what you mean, but I'll think about it. Thanks, Commander.
Vale, esta conversación no la había hecho.
Good to see you.
Y le he pasado. Mierda. Bueno, da igual.
Commander, you have a minute to talk.
Si alguien quiere ver la conversación de Garrus, pues que lo pase más lentamente. Yo es lo que haré, la verdad. Lo pasaré ahí. Comandante, ¿tienes un minuto para hablar? Claro.
I keep an open door policy. If you have any concerns, lay them on me.
All right. I know things are different aboard the Normandy, but I'm concerned about the aliens, Vicarian and Rex. With all due respect, Commander, should they have full access to the ship?
Por no ser de la Alianza.
They may not serve the Alliance, Chief, but they're allies. At least as far as Saren goes.
This is the most advanced ship in the Alliance Navy. I don't think we should give them free rein to poke around the vital systems. Engines, sensors, weapons.
¿Te estás pasando la raya? No. ¿No confías en los aliens?
You don't trust the Alliance's allies?
I'm not sure I'd call the Council races allies. We, humanity, have to learn to rely on ourselves.
Pero necesitamos aliados.
Standing up for ourselves doesn't mean standing alone.
I don't think we should turn down allies. I just think we shouldn't bet everything on them staying allies. As noble as the Council members seem now, if their backs are against the wall, they'll abandon us.
Qué cínica eres.
You've got a pessimistic view of the universe, Williams.
A pessimist is what an optimist calls a realist. Look, if you're fighting a bear and the only way for you to survive is to sick your dog on it and run, you'll do it. As much as you love your dog, it isn't human. It's not racism, not really. Members of their species will always be more important to them than humans are.
¿Qué te hace pensar
Seem
eso?
like deeply held beliefs, Williams. What made you think this way?
My family's defended the Alliance since it was founded. My father, grandfather, great-grandmother, they all picked up a rifle and swore the oath of service. I guess we just tend to think of Earth's interests as our own.
Investigar, tu servicio.
It doesn't sound like you've worked with aliens before.
No, sir. Mainly I've been groundside, part of the surface garrison forces. I did get a rotation on a space station for training. Every Marine a rifleman, every rifleman ZG certified.
Te mereces algo
That's
mejor.
odd. Your record is spotless and your technical scores are exemplary. You should be serving with the fleet.
Anyway, that's why I haven't served with many aliens, Commander.
Familia
I never
militar.
knew my family. Grew up an orphan on Earth. Anybody in your family I'd have heard of?
Couldn't say, Commander. So why are you out here? Just trying to get away from Earth?
Para servir a la alianza, para ver el espacio. Para ver el espacio.
The future of humanity is out here. There's so much we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. I still remember my first field exercise on Titan. When we hit mud, the reality hit me. I'm the first person who ever stood here. Then my drill instructor kicked me in the ass. I went face first into the muck. He spent the next 5 minutes chewing me out for gold breaking.
Por haraganear.
Don't tell me you had Gunny Ellison. He's the only one I know who uses that word to describe shirking duty.
Oh, Lord. You went to the Macapag boot camp, too? Yeah. Gunny Ellison's still reaming out recruits down there. Kicking ass and using words like inveigle and pusillanimous.
Comprendo tus
All
sentimientos.
right. I can see where your concerns are coming from, Williams. But this is a multilateral mission. You're going to have to work with aliens, like it or not.
It won't be a problem, Commander. You say jump, I say how high. You tell me to kiss a Turian, I'll ask which cheek.
¿Y por qué no a mí? No, no quiero ligar con esta. Gracias.
I don't think kissing Turians will be necessary.
You never know, Commander.
¿Qué tal nos
Your
va?
opinion on the last mission?
Not sure I buy Dr. Tassoni's story about her and her mom not talking. They're family, right?
Yo sí creo lo que dice.
I think she's being straight with us. Or at least, I don't think she lies very often.
Yeah, she's probably really bad at it. Hey, want me to ask her about her sex life? Might be illuminating.
¿Quieres que le pregunte por su vida sexual? Eso podría ser muy esclarecedor. No seas tan
I
cruel.
don't think she's used to teasing. Good-natured or otherwise.
No fun, Commander. Too bad those ruins got destroyed. I mean, they lasted thousands of years. That's impressive.
Bueno,
We'll
adiós.
talk later, Williams.
Looking forward to it, sir.
Vamos a hablar con Rex.
So, we've got Saren on the run.
Bueno, al parecer solo está yendo de nosotros. Así
Won't be
es.
long now. Saren's good, but I'm better.
Good. He's rotten. To the core.
Este tío me encanta,
I
la
could
verdad.
tell as soon as I met him.
¿Conoces a Saren?
Why didn't you tell me this sooner?
I would have if I thought it was important.
Muy bien, de
I think
acuerdo.
I'd like to hear about it just the same.
This was a while ago. A bunch of mercs were bragging about a job out near the edges of the Terminus systems. They said it paid well and the boss was never around to ride them. They said he was looking for more men, too. So I checked it out.
Saren te reclutó.
I didn't know Saren was openly recruiting mercs.
It wasn't that open, and he only showed his face once. We'd been raiding ships in the area for months when we took out this massive cargo freighter. Our biggest haul yet. I was on board checking bodies for valuables, looking for some extra credits. That's when I saw him.
¿Qué estaba haciendo?
What did Saren want with the ship?
I don't know what he wanted. He was just moving through the ship, watching. Couple of the mercs called him by name, but he never spoke to them. Never spoke to anyone. I had a really bad feeling about him, so I got the hell out. Didn't even wait to get paid.
La
What
carga.
kind of cargo was the freighter carrying? What was Saren after?
I don't know. All I saw on that ship was food and medical supplies. There were some basic weapons, but nothing big. If there was anything of value on that ship, I didn't see it. That's why I didn't mention it sooner.
La
Whose
nave...
ship was it?
There was a Volus trading vessel. Big one. Lots of guards. But they were no match for us.
¿Eso es todo?
That's the only time you saw him?
Yeah. Didn't even know who he was. Still wouldn't if I hadn't joined up with you. But my instincts were right. Every other merc on that mission turned up dead within a week. Every damn one.
Investigar la
Are
extinción.
your people really dying?
We're sure not getting any stronger. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
Y...
Lots of species have left their homes and prospered.
But they go to colonize new worlds. We're not settlers. We're warriors. We want to fight. So we leave. Hire ourselves out. And most of us never go back.
La genofagia creo que ya...
What can you tell me about the Genoa?
Ask the Solarians if you... All I know...
Sí, esto ya, Miller muere al nacer la
every
mayoría,
Krogan is
pero el
infected.
Krogan está
Every
infectado.
one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
Why don't the Krogan
When
fight?
was the last time you ask a Krogan? It's just
Sí,
who we
esto
are,
ya lo...
Shepard.
ya veo.
I can't change that.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Esto ya lo hablamos. Con Garros no puedo volver a hablar, ¿en serio?
Commander, how are you?
No. Bueno, pues nada, tendré que pasar la conversación esa más lenta, o yo qué sé. No sé cómo lo haré. Ingeniero Adams.
Something I can do for you, Commander.
Sistemas de sigilo, esto ya lo
Carry on,
habíamos...
Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
esto ya lo habíamos hablado con él.
Hello, Shepard.
Pareces
Are you
preocupada.
okay?
I don't know. Your ship is amazing, and your crew's been really great to me. Especially your chief engineer. But I just sort of feel out of place. The Normandy runs so smooth it feels like we're not even moving. And the engines are so quiet. How do you sleep at night?
Sin ruido no puedes dormir.
The silence wakes you up?
Back on the flotilla, the last thing you want to hear is silence. It means an engine's died or an air filter shut down. I guess you don't have to worry about that here. But old habits die hard. But it's more than just the silence. This ship feels so empty. It's like half the crew is missing. Back home, I couldn't wait to go on my pilgrimage. I couldn't wait to get away from the crowds. Now that I'm out here, I kind of miss them.
Sientes nostalgia.
We don't appreciate what we have until it's gone.
That's true. I'm starting to wonder if that's what the pilgrimage is really about. It's given me a whole new perspective on my people and our culture. You know, there's always a few who go on their pilgrimages and never return. I always assumed something bad happened to them, but maybe they just wanted a different life.
I should go.
See you later.
No, me voy. Porque ya hablamos de los cuarianos y cosas así que nada. Estos son... Vale, estos son los equipos de nuestra tripulación. Así que nada, yo creo que ya hemos hablado con todos. Pues vamos a por la misión. A ver qué misión hacemos. Esto es las principales lecturas inusuales. Sí. Investiga el sistema Hydra. Esto es de la ciudadela, transmisión extraña, corsarios, minerales valiosos. Hombre llamado Garroth ha perdido que busques a su hermano desaparecido. Garroth teme que su nave de su hermano ha sido víctima de... por el sistema Terminus. Ve al sistema Strenus. En la nebulosa cabeza de caballo. Podemos hacer eso perfectamente. Por aquí no. Por las escaleras. Vamos a ir a ver si la nave del hermano del tío este está bien. Nebulosa cabeza de caballo era, si no me equivoco.